Hi everyone, it's Atuksha from Simple Crowdfunding, and for today's interview I have Mark Wilkinson with me from Life Remixed. We'll talk about Mark in a second, but just as a brief introduction, Mark is an international DJ, he's a life and property coach, he's a health and safety expert, a best-selling and award-winning author, and he's the brains behind Life Remixed. Hi, Mark. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Atuksha. That's quite a resume I've got there, quite a CV I've got there now, isn't it?
So we're going to be talking about each of these points in a bit. So, but what I would really like to do is actually start with where you started your career, which was actually with DJing, wasn't it? Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I first heard music when I was like 6 years old, and I've written about this in Life Remixed, the book. And I just heard music and just had this feeling that was just ran through me. And somehow, I wasn't a very good footballer, and somehow I just ended up falling into music, DJing at friends' parties. When I was like 16 or 17, buying lots of vinyl and learning to mix records together. And the next thing you know, I started DJing. A friend said to me, like, would you like to come and DJ in this club? Because I used to make tapes and cassettes from cassette tapes. I used to make cassette tapes and give those out. He said, would you like to come and play at my club? And I said, yeah, great, let's go. And then, yeah, I mean, that was sort of 17, 18 years old. And then I was DJing full time until I was about 35, 36, basically. So yeah, I had a wonderful career as a young man DJing like that, and I still DJ, but it's not my full-time thing anymore, basically.
And you traveled all around the world.
Yeah,
DJing,
I went to 65 different countries, resident DJ at Ministry of Sound when I was 25. I mean, it sounds amazing. A lot of the time, and it was amazing, but a lot of the time it was in on the plane, airport, hotel, restaurant, nightclub, sleep, and then straight back, right? I mean, it wasn't particularly glamorous all the time, but it was a great way to see the world as a young lad, and playing records for other people and seeing them celebrate the tunes that I loved, and yeah, it was there was moments of it that were just incredible, absolutely incredible.
And you mixed a lot of your own music as well, didn't you?
I was also a record producer. Yeah, I had my own recording studios, and we did a lot of remixes. We had a top 10 hit with Lou Reed and David Bowie, "Satellite of Love." That was a great moment. That was a great moment. I can't live off the rapidly fading glory of that for much longer, because it was 2004 or something like that. So it was quite a long time ago, but it was great, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, making music is a beautiful thing to do. I still make some music. I've got my own little record label still, and I love doing it. I love doing it, and working with some incredible people as well.
It's just every time we've met and there's music in the background, your ear just tunes into it straight away, doesn't it? So yeah. I can always see your feet going and your body moving.
I just can't help it. It's just part of who I am. It's an incredible feeling that music can give you. It can be a game changer. It can change your state. It can just uplift you, in one moment. And I'm really about the uplifting tunes. I always like the ones that like get me going. I don't like to listen to music to be somber, or relax or anything like that. No, it's like get me up, get me on the dance floor, and get me involved. So yeah, that's music for me. And trust me, it was a beautiful way to make a living as a younger guy, and it's still a beautiful thing to do now. Only without the pressure. I've got lots and lots of other ways that I make money, so I can still do the music and enjoy it.
So DJing till about mid-30s, what happened at that point? What was the stop in the break?
Yeah, so, like I said, I've been around the globe. I DJ'd with, household names, Fatboy Slim, Norman J, Danny Ramplin, any other DJ you could probably think of, and they all know me and I know them, and I was on that scene for a long time. And then out of nowhere, one day I was just walking through my flat after a particularly big night out, and let's be honest, there was lots of big nights outs from 17 to 33. I just collapsed one day. My leg just gave way, and it was my right leg, and it gave way. And I'm 6'4", as you know, Atuksha, I'm quite tall, so I'm 6'4", I'm quite a big lad, you know. And I sort of hit the floor quite hard, and I didn't know what had happened. And I sort of lay there with my food that I'd been carrying kind of everywhere. And I think my brother was there, and he was laughing. I think he just thought I tripped up, you know. And then he saw that I couldn't get up, and he said, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know, my leg is throbbing, and I can't stand up." And so it was quite dramatic in its way. And he had to help me up, and, you know, got me onto the sofa. But with the ensuing part of that is that for the next 18 months after that, as I said, age 33 to 34, for the next 18 months, my body just deteriorated. I mean, just froze. It's an ironic thing, you know. It's kind of my body froze, my joints froze, and yet it felt like I was on fire. It was burning. It was like fire and ice type thing going on. So, you know, you couldn't touch me. I was just like everything in my body was like on fire, and yet I'd freeze. So I wouldn't be able to actually move. You know, I couldn't get out of a chair. I couldn't get in and out of a car. And if I sat somewhere for about 10 minutes, I would fuse. I would just literally fuse, and trying to move. I mean, I've often said at the time it was like being like a 90-year-old guy, but actually that's a disrespect to 90-year-old people, because, you know, I was done in. I'm, you know, trying to find words that don't include swear words. It took sure, but I was not good. I was very, very, very sick, very sick.
And so that was for 18 months or thereabouts. What happened after that?
Well, I was undiagnosed for 18 months. I went to see numerous doctors. I mean, at the time I'd moved into central London, so I remember counting, I was something like 40 or 50 steps from Harley Street. So I went up and down Harley Street, seeing all these very, very expensive doctors, you know, trying to get them to help me to understand what exactly was going on in my body. And none of them could. Nobody could diagnose me. I was losing the will to live. I mean, mentally, I was going down and down and down, suicidal at times. I never would have done it, but, you know, it was there. It was like, this isn't worth living, this life. You know, I was like hammering ibuprofens every 3 hours. My stomach was killing me. My body was frozen. It was just awful. And then I moved to Clerkenwell, and I just thought I need to go and register with a new GP. So I sort of shuffled into this GP's office, and she took one look at me and she said, "I'm surprised you've managed to keep going this long." And she sent me for an emergency appointment with a rheumatologist. So I thought, an emergency appointment, I thought, well, that'll, you know, tomorrow then, okay, magic. Another 6 weeks later, you know, that's the emergency appointment at the time. Another 6 weeks later, I go to see the rheumatologist at the UCLA in Euston Road, and yeah, he heard my tale of woe that I told people, like, you know, 30 times before, and he said, "All right, you've got this," and he gave me a pamphlet. I was like, "What's this?" And I started to read the pamphlet, and I was like, I could have written the pamphlet. I was just like, oh my days, this is exactly it.
Wow.
And it was called ankylosing spondylitis. Never heard of it before. He said, "Bad luck, it's incurable. You're always going to get it. It's in your genetics, in your genes. Take these drugs for the rest of your life, you know, this medication for the rest of your life, and you'll probably be all right." But around the same time, I was gifted a copy of The Secret, which I know we'll talk about later, I expect.
Yeah, so that was a really low point in your life, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was rock bottom.
Rock bottom. And what was it, The Secret, that actually brought you out, or what was it that actually flipped that switch to say, I need to do something about it?
Yeah, you can't. I don't think I can put it down to just one thing, right? Because you know, the doctor did give me some medication, so he gave me some medication, and actually it worked really quickly. Like within a few hours, I was like, "Oh, this is what I've needed." Like, thank God, you know, I'm all right. And I was all right, although my stomach was still, you know, there was still a lot of problems in my body, but you know, it was okay. I was kind of like, all right, I could go back to, you know, sort of DJing again a little bit. And because I hadn't DJed very much at all for a long time there. And that was my only source of income at the time as well. No assets, no nothing, you know, that was it. If I wasn't doing that, then I was done, you know. And so I sort of struggled through that period. So the modern medication, you must never negate it. It can get you out of an intense situation, as I was. But then, yeah, a friend of mine, Brian Miller, I was going to Scotland having detoxes. So like, you know, full detoxes, juices, you don't need the rest of the information, but it was quite, you know, it was full on. And a friend of mine, Brian Miller, gave me a DVD of The Secret. He said, watch this, Mark. I was all right. So I went and watched it, gave it back to him, said, thanks. He said, no, you need to go and watch it again. All right. Well, I tried to give it back to him. No. He said, just watch it 100 times. 100 times? What are you talking about? You know, I've never watched a film 100 times in my life, but okay. But something sparked, something was in there. And the real key to it was actually Bob Proctor, who I know we're going to talk about. But Bob said in there, a dis-ease is 2 words. A dis-ease is 2 words. And you cannot have a dis-ease in the body if you're in a healthy emotional state. I had never heard that information before in my life. And a doctor's just told me I've got an incurable disease. But this guy is saying you've got a dis-ease. And that was the key. That was the moment, because I was like, right, what is going on? And I needed to know. And I didn't want to just be a victim. You know, the doctors are there to help us, of course, but you know, I've always been proactive. I've always been leader from the front. I'm the DJ. I'm the guy who stands at the front with, like, you know, 1,000 people dancing and celebrating, maybe more, you know. So I've always been that guy. So I had to find out more. And this Bob Proctor planted this seed in my head in The Secret. And I just went, okay, tell me more about this. I need to understand. And that was part of, you know, that's been 17 years, basically. Now at 51, I've just been studying non-stop with this information.
So you started on the path of learning more about The Secret, about the universe, about a positive attitude and outlook, I suppose. So what happened after that? So in terms of the health and safety aspect, did that kick in after that? Your property, your mentorship, what was the order that all of these things came into play? Essentially,
as I said, obviously I've written it all in Life Remixed, but essentially I had a period of time to sort of go through, you know, this information, but I was also in a rather toxic environment that wasn't suiting me, wasn't serving me, and I ended up coming out the back of that around 2008. So a few years, you know, 2 or 3, 4 years even of all trying to learn all this stuff and get my head around it all. And then I got bankrupt. So by 2008 in the credit crunch, I was bankrupt. You know, if it wasn't for my dear mother still managing to keep the house that I grew up in, you know, moving, then I would have been homeless. And that in itself, from the heights that I thought I was at, that I've just described to you, to be then at that low point with the dis-ease, and then still in this few years of low point where actually I could have ended up homeless, was really a sobering moment, you know. And so you know, throughout all this time with the dis-ease in my body, I gave up alcohol, I cleaned up my act, I got myself into a much healthier state mentally and physically. But then it still had to come through with the bankruptcy, so I had to go through that one as well. But then I got offered a job. A friend of mine said, you know, I was bankrupt and living in my mum's spare room, 38 years of age, just scratching my head going like, what's just happened here? Because I couldn't really explain it, you know. You know, and then one of the teachers from Bob's team said to me once, sometimes, well, all the time, it has to get dark before it gets light again. And that, you know, that period of my mid-30s there was the darkness that, you know, before the light came again. And I think many people have to go through those kind of challenges, and often it can be the best and most productive people that have been through those kind of challenges. Yes. So I got offered this job. A friend of mine said, would you like to come and work in Thailand on FM radio for a 12-month contract? And I had no work here. I had nothing to keep me here, no relationship, no, you know. I was just like, yeah, you know, let's just go. So I jumped over there and I worked on his radio station for 12 months, which was brilliant. I took all my favorite books. I sat on the beach every weekend. I just read books. I just allowed everything to clear, you know, the bankruptcy and the disease and everything. I just went, just let it all go. And then while I was there, I met a guy that was doing health and safety. And with the greatest love and respect to him, he's a friend of mine. He's no more intelligent than I am. And I just thought, well, I've given my life to music and he's given his life to something else, because he was involved in diving. So he was a dive instructor who moved to health and safety. And I was like, well, I can do that because I'm understanding myself better than ever. I'm understanding psychology. I'm understanding people. I got interested in the psychology of accidents, you know, how and why do people get injured, you know, and stuff like that. So I got really into that. And that's been, health and safety has been a thread that's been running through my life in construction and the airport and property and everywhere for the last 10, 12 years. And it's been brilliant. It's, you know, people say, how do you go from like DJ to like health and safety? You know, how does that one work? You know, but
it's not a straight line, is it?
No, it's not a straight line. However, if you actually like, you know, if I talk a little bit later about purpose and stuff like that, it's the same thing, right? When I play records on a dance floor, I want people to enjoy the music and have a good night out or enjoy the party, or whatever. And when I go to the construction site or indeed anywhere that I'm doing health and safety work, I want those people to have a good day at work. And I want them to go home and enjoy their spare time or their extra time with their families. So it's the same purpose for me. It works out exactly the same. It's just a different medium, a different way of doing it.
That's a really interesting viewpoint. It makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
Connecting the two, I'm not sure many people would have done that to start with, but it absolutely makes perfect sense. Absolutely. So the health and safety. So we actually met about 4 years ago, thereabouts, wasn't it? And it was through a mentorship. We were slightly ahead in terms of when we did it, but it's the same company. We met through that, didn't we? So what made you go down the sort of mentorship coaching route? Because obviously you coach your clients now on both property and sort of life and getting the best out of a person. So what made you go down that route?
I was inspired by many people. You know, you could look at Bob Proctor, you could look at Robert Kiyosaki, you look at Kevin Green, you look at all these amazing people that are doing amazing things and helping lots of people and inspiring lots of people to actually take action and do something. You know, I've always specialized in crowds. I've always been around crowds as a DJ, music, you know, I love that. And I love the seminar environment. I became a seminar junkie. I literally just went to seminars full time. I was like, another seminar, let's go. What else can I learn? How can I expand my mind? And what actually happened was, it's almost exactly the same, right? When I was not 18, 19, 20, I used to stand in the Ministry of Sound and look at the DJ DJing and go, I can do that. And actually, some of the DJs, I'm better than them, right? Now, some of the DJs I wasn't as good at, and I'm quite happy to admit that. But a lot of the DJs, I'm better than this guy. I can do this. And within 3, 4, 5 years, I'm resident DJ at Ministry of Sound at 25 years of age, right? Vision. That's the vision, right? And then it's almost exactly the same thing that's going on at the moment. So I've seen these guys speak. I've seen them. I've looked at them. I've watched them. I've studied them. I've said, you're amazing. Every one of you is amazing. I can also do this. And I can have a positive impact on people. So I got involved in coaching probably 3, 4 years ago. I get such a good feeling. I get the exact same feeling coaching people as I did from DJing. And it's not just 2 hours on a Friday or a Saturday night. It's 12 hours a day now. You know, I've just got this high of energy that it just, you know, when I see the light bulb moment, when I see someone's kind of get something, or I'm just like, it just fills me with joy. And so that was an easy one. That's an easier one for people to maybe understand, you know, rather than the health and safety aspect. But, you know, the coaching part of my life now is hugely, hugely important. And seeing people really, like, you know, grow. And the way that you described it was great. I mean, basically, I do life, business, property. Because for me, if you haven't got your life sorted out, and by the way, that means positive thinking, positive feelings, you know, understanding there'll be challenges and how you respond to them, not react. You know, you don't react and blow things up, but you respond to everything, you get it done methodically and properly and thoroughly and professionally. And you know you can deal with anything that comes at you, you can deal with it. You know, now, having been through dis-ease and bankruptcy, throw anything you like at me, I'm like, it's fine, you know, I'm still here and it'll be fine, you know. So I've learned this the hard way, if you like, but I've learned this. Now, Marcy Shimoff said in an interview with me, she said, thank you, Mark, for losing everything, so that now we don't have to, and you can teach us how not to do it. That's great. So, you know, but that life coaching piece is massive, because many people try and go into business, but they're not ready. They're just not ready. So let's get the life coaching bit done first. Then if you want to move into business, and then move into property and property investment or property development or whatever it is you want to do with. But for me, it's a growth stage, and I can guide people through it now because I've done it, but I'm also living it as well, even now as we speak.
Absolutely. And all of these components are really important, aren't they? To have, I totally understand what you're saying about when the light bulb goes on, and you see something click in someone. It's the most wonderful thing, isn't it?
Right.
And it's sending all those ripples out, isn't it? So if someone is in a better position to where they started because of something you've done, all those ripples just multiply massively, don't they?
Well, we do. I work with people now for a minimum of 12 months. I only do 12 months coaching program. We call it 12 months to remix your life. You might see Life Remixed all around me here. It's 12 months to remix your life. And that's the minimum that I'll work with somebody. If they're serious, they'll invest in themselves, they'll come into the program, and then they'll get to see more and more and more opportunities opening up for them with me, with the crowd, with the team, you know.
And in terms of property, what's your interest in property?
So we started out with a buy-to-let portfolio. We've got 7 properties now, myself and Emma, which we've built up in the last 3 or 4 years. Predominantly in South Wales. It's a great little area to invest in. I love the Welsh. One day I'm hoping they'll put a statue of me on the hill. No, they won't. There'll be no statue of an Englishman up on the hill on a pandy. But we love it there. It's great. You know, it's a great area. I've built some great contacts down there and some really good friends, which is great. So we've done that. We continue to do that, and it's a great investment area, and we make money. We make money every month from the good people of Wales who help us. You know, they pay their rent on time, and our bills are all covered, so we can then express ourselves and do what we would really like to do, rather than having to work for people that we don't particularly want to work with, as many employees have to do. So we've done that over the last few years, and that continues to grow. We've now bought some land down there, and we're going to build 3 5-bedroom houses, which will be worth over $1 million, probably about £1.2 million for the 3. So, you know, if you want a 3-bedroom, if you want a 5-bedroom house in Wales, it's probably going to cost you about 400 grand. So it's not as expensive as London, shall we say?
It's different, isn't it?
It's a bit different, but at the end of the day, these will be beautiful homes with a beautiful view for, you know, Welsh people that would love to live in this great development that we're going to build. So we're going to build that over the next 18 months, 2 years. So that's exciting. And yeah, it's great. I mean, I love property, and again, it's about the purpose thread that we really must touch on. People say to me, like, you know, they get into property because they see the pound signs. They see the pound signs and think, oh, property is the best way to make money. And let's be honest, yes, it can be a great way to make some money. Absolutely. It's solid, it's assets, you know, it's real, it's there. But that's not the reason I'm involved in it at all. The reason I am involved in property is to put a roof over someone else's head.
Yeah.
If I put a roof over 5, 10, 15, 100 people's heads, and they are feeling joyful and they feel good, they've got a nice home, they're safe and warm, and they've got food, and, you know, all of that, I will earn money. It's just a byproduct of the correct way of doing something. You do something for the right reason, put the roof over someone else's head, the money will come.
It's so true. So Devon and I started investing in the valleys many, many years ago. And actually, it's so true, isn't it? It's about providing homes to people. One of our properties in Kent, for example, the tenant's been there for like 15 years or thereabouts. It's their home. And so it's just a very different environment, isn't it? When you find people like that, it's absolutely worth holding on to them. So I totally get what you're saying on that basis.
Well, what I would say to people is don't do it for money. Don't do it for money. Do it for the enjoyment of actually providing. If you're in a position, if you're, I want to say lucky, but it's not really a word I subscribe to, but if you're in such a good position that you can help somebody else, then do it.
One of the things I loved also was bringing empty properties back to life.
Yeah, nice.
So if you've got a shell that's just sat there doing absolutely nothing, to see the transformation into a home is actually quite remarkable, isn't it? So, and that's true for having a plot of land and sort of building homes on it. It's the same type of thing, isn't it? So
absolutely. I mean, I stood on the land back in December or November when we went down there. I can see the whole land, you know, I've got the CGI in my mind, the vision in my mind. So I've got the CGI standing on the land. I'm like, yeah, I can see this, you know, I can see families, you know, enjoying living in this place. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. And you know, the other thing as well is the joy to the tenants as well. Like I had a tenant contacting me the other day saying, oh, I'd really like to get a puppy. Is that okay? I know it's not really in the tenant, you know, license or anything. How could I say no? You know what I mean? We've just got a puppy. I'm just like, Frankie's brought so much joy to Emma and I, little Frankie, the French bulldog, that I'm like, just get the dog, you know, just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Please look after the house, but, you know, just enjoy it, you know, because you can't, you know, life is about bringing joy to other people.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. We had that with one of our tenants as well. Carpets are a state, but, you know, the tenant's happy. But anyway, it's fine. So let's talk a little bit more about the crowd, actually. So everything you do is crowd focused, isn't it?
Everything.
So one of the reasons we've been talking a lot is because you're actually bringing properties to the crowd, aren't you, for investment? Why are you doing that?
Well, again, about, you know, bringing that joy to people. It's a joy's a thread as part of my purpose, and my purpose is to bring joy, knowledge, to inspire and create, so that other people learn to live, love and enjoy their lives to the full. That's it, right? Tick. As long as I'm doing that every minute of every day, I feel great, other people feel great, and we're all, you know, in a lovely place. So I've been fascinated by what you do for quite some time, you know, watching the crowd fund, watching all the deals go through the crowd. I'm like, this is good. I actually spoke to Davin on the phone, and it must be nearly 4 or 5 years ago now, whilst I was working as the head of health and safety at a huge developer. But I wasn't particularly happy there. I didn't particularly like the culture or the role or anything like that. I was like, hey, I need to find out more about this. And I remember having a chat with Davin about crowdfunding, and he gave me some information. I was like, I'm not quite ready to do that now, but Emma and I continued our journey, and now I'm completely ready to do it. Crowds have followed me, you know, through DJing, through music, even through health and safety. I mean, I became head of health and safety at Heathrow Airport for 3+ years. That means that, you know, 89,000 people working on Heathrow Airport, a lot of them knew who I was. You know, a lot of them was like, a lot of them had to contact me to be able to get something done. So again, I've always been in a sort of position of where people kind of know me, right? And I'm quite comfortable with that. It's fine, you know, I'm quite comfortable with that responsibility. The reason for wanting to do the crowdfund is twofold. One, again, it's another opportunity to extend business, extend reach, help more people, actually like create more houses, do more. You know, if there's more people involved with more money, then you can grow and grow and grow, you know, and we've got a big long-term vision of what we could do here. But we're going to start in pretty small. We're just going to get one going. The other thing is for my clients, so people that I'm coaching, my big vision is that they come in, they pay their money for coaching, then they have an opportunity to invest into a crowdfund to earn and learn with myself and the team, the whole team. They can earn and learn the whole process, with two goals. One, that they should get most of their money, if not all their money, back from their investment into coaching, which would be the dream. That would be amazing. And of course, we have to mention now that property can go up, go down as well as up, right? So we can't guarantee it, but the point is, that's the vision, that's the goal, that's what we'd like. But also then for them to be able to learn how it goes and how deals work and how to structure things, thereby giving them the opportunity to be able to do something themselves in the future.
And that's doing all of that on a live project rather than theoretical.
Absolutely, on a live project.
Yeah, at every stage. So all the ups and downs that property developers experience, they'll all be sharing all of those ups and downs at the same time.
I think it's important to have that reality. So
yeah.
this is only open to my crowd, my Life Remixed crowd, the group, you know, and many of them are like, well, this is great, and I just want to get involved in it, which is great. But yes, absolutely, we're going to be real. So if we have a problem, then they're going to have to know about it, and we'll have monthly calls, and we'll tell people, like, okay, so we've had a problem. This is the truth. This is the reality. But then, you know, this up to this point, my experience in property has always been great. I've worked with good people. It's been solid. And I've always got the result that I wanted in the end, even if there's been some, you know, bumpy bits in the road. You know, I've always had that positive outcome. So I believe in something called the law of attraction. And I believe that with the state I'm in mentally and emotionally and the way I live my life now, since the problems of my 30s, that I only attract good things to me. And therefore, with that belief, that's why I'm going into this, because and taking the next step with the crowd and the crowd fund, because my belief is only in the good. Of course, there'll be, you know, blips and problems and bits that we have to come over, but they need to learn, if they're going to come through this with the reality of investing, then they need to learn how that works.
Yeah, how it works and what the challenges are, because it's not all rosy, is it?
No.
And so understanding the reality of it's really, really important, isn't it?
But if they've been life coached, on how to manage themselves and their emotions, right? When there's a problem, you don't react and like, you know, you respond. You go, right, okay, how am I going to fix this? All right, okay.
Exactly.
And all I've done for the last, since the crashes in the 30s, my personal crashes in my 30s, all I've done is to find solutions.
Yeah.
How do I find a solution to any given challenge on any given day? And it's a great way to live, right?
Absolutely. And I want to talk about your Life Remixed book. So, best-selling author, award-winning book. What gave you, not the courage, what gave you the inspiration to put it down on paper? Well,
I think if we circle back slightly to the doctor telling me the incurable disease, and then the Bob Proctor saying a dis-ease in The Secret, I needed to find out more about that. So I was like, right, let me know more about this. And I started to study. And I made some big decisions. Like I said earlier, I cleaned up my act, I gave up alcohol, everything else that went around in nightclubs and everything else, but also gave up meat, wheat, dairy, sugar, caffeine, just detox my entire life. I started following Tony Robbins' Living Health program at the time, which now is not perfect if you go back and listen to it, but at that time it worked really well for me. Within a few months, but maybe about a year from sorting myself out, making some big decisions, detoxifying my life completely, removing myself from a toxic environment and getting myself into the right place, I ran a marathon.
Wow.
I went from unable to walk to running. I ran the London Marathon. And that was another visualization moment where I visualized myself crossing the marathon line. I trained for it for about 4 months, from Christmas Day until the 25th of April, 2009 this was. And I ran the London Marathon, which if you'd have said that to a 14-year-old Mark when he first started drinking, or even like 12 months before, who could barely walk, saying, you're going to run a marathon in 12 months time, I think he would have just gone, but I went, yeah, okay. And I went with it. And so to finish the marathon was the most incredible moment of my life up to that point, because that was the moment where I knew that I could do anything if I thought it and visioned it and went for it and set the goal and trained and everything else, right? Everything that goes with that. But crossing that marathon finishing line made me realize that I could do anything. I set my mind to. And that story was the bit I was like, right, that needs to go in a book. That needs to go into a book to be able to tell other people. I don't like the word tell, actually, to be able to share with other people that you can literally change your life. You can remix your life. And obviously I used to remix records. So that's where the title kind of comes from. Remix your life, remix your being, keep the bits you like, get rid of the bits you don't like, and actually change your life for the better. And crossing the marathon finishing line was the moment I was like, right, I'm definitely going to write this book. Definitely going to write this book. However, I was also still bankrupt at that time, or actually just coming out of bankruptcy. So I don't know. I just had a thing in my mind. It was like, well, who wants to listen to a bankrupt guy writing a book about, running a marathon? So, I mean, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I could have done it then, but I thought, no, I'm going to hold on to this, and I'm going to recover financially to such a level that I am, financially free, essentially. Financial freedom to me means doing what you like, when you like, with who you like. And that's what I do every day, Atuksha, you know that. I was like, right, so when I'm financially free, when I'm in that position, then this book will come to fruition. And it did.
And there it is. And you have a Life Remixed live event coming up, don't you?
Yep.
So this was, I remember you telling me that you'd envisioned this sort of 12 years ago. And it was when you were reading, in fact, Bob Proctor stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, and this event is at the end of this month, isn't it?
It is.
So the timings are, what's that like?
Yeah. To
actually see it come to fruition?
Yeah, it's another amazing moment, actually. The fact that we've pulled this together, it's Saturday the 26th of February, as you rightly say. You can see the flyer there. That's Life Remixed Live. It's an absolute dream, vision, incredible moment. I mean, many people find it quite interesting that I have had a fear of public speaking for many, well, my entire life, actually. And people say, well, what are you, a DJ? I'm like, yeah, but I'm a DJ. I've got the music in front of me, and music's in front of me. And I'm like, yeah.
You've got your barrier, haven't you?
I've got the barrier. The barrier's always there, and I never had to get the microphone because I'm busy mixing. I'm not talking, I'm busy mixing. And so I've always had that fear of public speaking. And so I'd never even thought about public speaking or doing anything. But as I say, the whole thread with Bob Proctor, I mean, so many things I learned from that man were just phenomenal. Things like gratitude, purpose, vision, goals, everything is energy. All the books he's written, You Were Born Rich, It's Not About the Money. His studies with Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich. Just everything you can imagine. All the courses I've studied with him, all the things I've done with Bob Proctor. I remember just seeing him. I saw him stand on stage, and he had that radio microphone, and he's got his hands free, and he's talking, and he's, and he's pointing and talking, and I was like, I'm going to do that. And he even said, I remember him even saying that when he was like 45, he would sit at the back of a seminar, like nervous, like watching the guy talking, going like, whoa. And really? I thought, yeah. And I thought, I do that. That's what I'm doing. I'm sitting in the back of the room going like, oh. And the fact that he was so comfortable up there doing what he was doing in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people, talking about self-development, his own journey, all the challenges, because there's many things, we don't know about Bob Proctor, but he shared on some courses that he went through 2 huge losses of money. I'm not sure if they were actual bankruptcies, but they were pretty close. He had some massive challenges, health challenges, all kinds of stuff. And he talked so eloquently, and I was just like, I really like this guy, and I'm like, I'm gonna do that. So I watched Bob do it. It was 12 years ago. He must have been 76 at the time. I was watching him. I actually flew to America. There's me and Bob. there. I flew to America to meet Bob, shake his hand, say how grateful I was for everything he taught me in all of the courses, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to do this, and I've been imagining it for a while. I've been going to other seminars, other courses, talking on stages. You know, that's where we met. And now is the moment. This is the moment. This is now when Life Remixed goes live on the 26th of February. It's going to be great.
I'm so excited for you because I know the event's going to be amazing. And some of the things you're covering is about sort of positive performance, purpose, vision, goals, money mindset. And then you also have an after party, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I couldn't possibly do this.
You can't stop your DJing, can you?
You can take the man out. You can take the man out of the nightclub, but you can't. Yeah, I don't. You know, listen, I'm not a big raver anymore. Although someone did say to me, they looked at the agenda for the day. One of the women who's coming, she's a lovely woman. She's coming along. She went, "This day's going to be amazing. It's learn, eat, rave."
Yeah, it's true. Isn't it?
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And you know, because you've been in the venue with me, you know the sound system is really very special. It's got a beautiful sound in there. So yeah, I was like, right, so we'll do a seminar. We'll do 11 until 5:30 p.m. We'll have a couple of breaks in there. We're right in Esher High Street, so everyone can get food and, you know, be a part of the day and really bring some great energy to what we're doing. And then we've got to have a party. We have to have a party afterwards. We're going to hire the venue from 9 a.m. we'll be there until midnight. I'm like, we've got to have a party just to do something, you know, because I've been to so many seminars, but no one's ever like done something in the evening where everyone can get together, you know. So it's going to be a great event. I'm speaking obviously for 3 different 1.5 hour sessions. Harry Singer, who does all of Tony Robbins' UPWs for Success Resources and stuff like that, is my presenter for the day. I mean, just think about that for a minute. You know, he can talk to 10,000 people. It's going to be, I don't know, 150 of us or something in the Esher Theatre. Harry Singer's going to be there for the whole day. It's just absolutely amazing. And then in the evening, we've put on an after party from 7 o'clock until midnight. So not too late, because when I past midnight, Atuksha, it's like, you know, I need my sleep. We've got Wisey and Gav doing the early sets. We've got Norman J MBE, which is legendary. I mean, this guy, brilliant DJ. Danny Rampling, like one of the founders of house music, who wrote one of the forwards to Life Remixed, you know, house music in the UK, I should say, one of the founders. Danny's going to be with us. He's a client, a friend. He'll be in the crowd all day. He's going to DJ for us at night. And then we've got myself as well playing some music. So, you know, it's going to be, all in all, it's going to be an amazing day.
I'm so looking forward to it. I'm absolutely going to be there. We're going to be there.
Thank you.
It's going to be absolutely amazing. And I'm so excited for you. I can't tell you how much.
Oh, bless you. I mean, I am without a shadow of a doubt, I will be stepping outside of my comfort zone to be on a stage with just me and a clicker and a PowerPoint and the sound and talking, and it's massively outside of my comfort zone to do this for 3 1.5 hour sessions, by the way. But you know, I want everyone to know that, because it's important. It's real, right? It's a real thing. That a comfort zone is a dangerous place to be. As a coach, I could sit here on Zoom for the rest of my life, just like coaching people all around the world, telling them to move outside their comfort zones. How about I do it, right? So, you know, now we've got the chance to put on a live event. We've had this booked from well before Christmas, and I was watching all the, you know, changes, thinking, please, come on, it's going to be all right. We're going to be fine. No restrictions, and that's the situation. It's great. You know, I think 2022 is the bounce back year for everybody. I think we're all going to get momentum. I mean, you guys are busy. I mean, I'm flat out busy since Christmas. And it's beautiful. It's so good that we've all got these opportunities now to get back to life, get back to business, and move out. I move outside of the comfort zone. I heard COVID described as a couple of years to be grateful for what you've got.
Yeah,
be grateful for what you've got, because you know it's good, and if you had food and clothing and shelter and some money to get by, then be grateful for that. But now we can get back to our dreams, right? We can get back to our dreams, our launch pad into the next decade, and this is mine.
bring our goals and visions into reality, right? And carry on working
I've been doing that.
towards
I've
those.
been doing that for some time now. My book, like, you know, Life Remixed is essentially, I had a lot of fun, right? So here's a lot of fun, but the majority of the book is, this is how I fixed all of my problems. The majority of the book is actually how to recover from a crisis. And how many people are trying to recover from a crisis right now? I'd say a lot.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got the mindset, for it, then you've got the opportunity to really, really, really go for it in the next sort of 7 to 10 years. And
absolutely, everything, it all sits on mindset, doesn't it?
It starts there.
If you have the right mindset, you can get through anything. You just have to find that path. Yeah, so, and I think it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful what you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm very, very excited about you bringing projects to Crowd through our platform, about your live event that's coming up. And yeah, if anyone wants to book, I know that tickets are going crazy fast at the moment. Anisha Theatre, the maximum it can take is what, 150?
It would be 200. It would be 200 if we squeeze them all in. So let's see.
So the link is going to be in the bio. So if you want to find out more about it, then absolutely have a look. We will be there, and Mark will obviously be there with a number of other people, and I'm very looking forward to the after party as well. Thank you so much, Mark. It's been enlightening. I've loved our conversation, and I really, really appreciate your time.
Can I just end as well? I really want to honor Bob Proctor. I only found out, like most of the rest of the world, I only found out on Friday afternoon that he just passed away. You and I had literally just spoken about this interview, and then I got the message. I was like, and I don't mind telling you, I was crying Friday afternoon. I didn't sleep well Friday night, Saturday morning. I went live on Saturday morning. I was crying. I was very, very upset, but I wanted to get that emotion out. I had to share that with people. You know, the guy has just impacted my life. He's changed everything in my life. He's changed how I think, how I feel. It showed me how to hold a vision, you know, have a purpose, set goals and achieve them, even if they seem outlandish. Just go for it, you know, just make it happen, you know. And he's taught me that, you know, I'm a spirit, a soul, and energy. We all live in an ocean of motion. It's all about vibration. I mean, there's so much that I've learned from that guy. And you know, you understand, you've read my book, you've read Life Remixed, you understand my ethics, you understand where I'm coming from with this. And I just want to honor him and just say, like, you know, thank you, Bob.
And this event is going to be even more special because of Bob and the insight and the vision and the knowledge that he's given to you, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I wouldn't be this guy today without the intervention of him from The Secret, and actually just waking me up. That's why I flew to America. That's why I flew to America, to thank him, because he gave me the light bulb, the way now I can give other people the light bulb about, like, hey, listen, it doesn't all have to be, you know, difficult. Life can actually be quite easy. It can be easy, simple, and fun. This is a friendly universe, provided you're in a friendly vibration, and that's what you put out into the world. And yeah, it's going to be really special because he's just passed, and now it's my turn. It's my turn to step up and do this in the UK.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thanks, Atuksha.